What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome into the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. I am one half of your host and virtual bartender, Mr. Nick Teodoro. Joining me, as always, is my tag team partner in life, my wife, Miss Nicole. Nicole, what are you having this evening?
Oh, Mr. Nick, I am having my normal Tito's cran and orange juice. I need you to tell me what you're drinking and our three things for the show today.
I'm drinking, as per usual, my Seven Oaks Cabernet wine. Well, the Wyatt Sicks have debuted, Seth Rollins has returned to Monday Night Raw, and NXT continues to open the forbidden door. It's Friday, June 21st, 2024. This is the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. What's up, everybody? Welcome back in. Happy Friday. It's the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour, bringing some Big Nick energy on a Friday to you all. Let's get right to it. You know, on this show, we love nothing more than the Wyatts, Bray Wyatt specifically, but the Wyatt Sicks have debuted on WWE Raw. So, if you didn't catch it, if you didn't stay awake till the end of Raw, let's catch you up. Nikki,
Ooh, baby.
the Wyatt Sicks are here.
They are.
Take us through. Ladies first, what are your thoughts?
I loved it. I think this is a great first kind of spark, first kind of catalyst. It was crazy. So, of course, it's at the end of the night. Jey Uso wins the qualifier to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And that signature, bump. And that's that noise. And then the lights go out. And then the fireflies just go up. And you're just like, shit is about to go down. And then they pan to the top of the ramp. And again, it's the door that Bray Wyatt came out of. Oh, beautiful man. When he came out at Extreme Rules, when he kind of re-debuted. And then all the smoke is coming out. And then you see Nikki Cross, Abby, whatever, which you want to call her, and she's, again, oh my god, it was so Ring, and for scary movie people, The Ring, I literally had my foot hanging off the bed, I literally pulled it back, because I was like, this is creepy AF. She did it so well, and it took me a minute, I think Nick has a great picture up, it took me a minute to realize she had a mask on. I don't know if that was with you, but it took me, maybe because I was just like, oh god, like, this is creepy, and it took me a minute to be like, oh, she has a mask on.
Yeah, what's interesting, I didn't notice that she had the mask on at first, because I guess you pointed out later that it's like braces and stuff like that. What it actually reminds me of a lot is if you watch Walking Dead, right? This is one of the last seasons I watched, but the Alpha character, it's a very similar mask to what Alpha, the character, what are they called? They were called like the Walkers, the Skin Walkers, or something.
Whispers?
Walkers. Maybe Whispers.
I stopped watching Walking Dead so long ago. So after Coral died, I stopped watching. But anyway, so she creepy crawls out and she crawls to a lantern. And then oh my god, Nick, that's such a creepy shot.
Well, that's where you really notice the mask.
That's when you notice the mask, yeah. And it's just like she crawls out and then she kind of does this like stand up. And you can tell like what she was wearing is kind of like this old like vintage, like I don't know, like 1800s kind of dress, and then her like sleeve or blouse had like these really frilly things on it. It just felt like
it's a wedding. Yeah, it felt wedding dress.
Like a wedding, creepy vintage. I love it. So she stands up and then she points, kind of like in the vignettes QR codes, and there was that woman. I don't think there's Nikki in that thing, but it's the same similar, like not looking at camera and just pointing.
Well, that's always a Wyatt staple, right? Like that's a big deal with the Wyatts. Like the original Bray Wyatt debut, this was very similar, and there's, I mean, everything with Bray Wyatt's like a lot of callbacks to it, but this is one of the like the callbacks. I remember, I think it was Rowan was the original like pointer in the original videos. Someone's got to let me know in the comments below, because I'm pretty sure in the original vignette of the debut, like right before they debuted, the last vignette, I guess it's not original, but the last vignette before they debuted, where they introduced them, I think there's something like a point where I'm pretty sure Rowan, because Rowan had the mask on, so he was, and
then
whatever it was.
So she points, and the camera just pushes, and it's such a beautiful, like this whole segment of this, how it was shot, like the cinematography, like it's just, to me, chef's kiss. So they push in to go backstage, and you immediately see people just on the ground.
Well, those are, sorry to interrupt you, but those are the those shots they've been doing, right? Like the backstage, like from, like they've been usually doing it from backstage in. Now it was like in backstage in, or the stage back.
And then you'll see it reverse. Anyway, it was great. So they push in, and you see just like bodies on the ground. And then it kind of, again, and everyone was saying that guy was mellow, and it's not. There apparently everyone they had besides the one, which was extras, not like local like wrestlers, just like actual like actors. So then they keep pushing, and then
extras according to Triple H make, or not extras, security guards make the best wrestlers. So.
So then it pans through, and it's like, oh, hello, Rambling Rabbit, which looked so creepy. Obviously, you can tell it's Rowan. You can tell by the tattoos on his arm. But him holding the hammer, it's like the callback to the Bludgeon Brothers.
So there's a couple of people that I think is interesting. Like, so when you wear a mask, like there's certain people that like it blends. Like it's hard to explain, but like the beard of Rowan.
Yes.
Blends so nicely with the rabbit costume or like that's what's so interesting to me is like we haven't seen it yet, and eventually, but like is there an opening in the bottom, like because of this, like is it just a full helmet, like bunny rabbit mask?
I think there's a lot of them seem to not, well, I guess besides we'll get to Huskus, I think that the only they all feel like they don't have jaws. Like
okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. Let us know. What do you think so far of Rowan's costume? I thought Rowan's costume.
Yeah, I think it looks fantastic, and it's the same guy from Pittsburgh that you saw in the documentary that did Bray Wyatt's The Fiend stuff. He did apparently all of this. So it pans to him. He flips the hammer around. It says "help," and the one corner has the red circle that we've been seeing. And then we push into Gorilla, and it is poop's gone sideways. So you see there's sparks coming down, the lights are flickering, people are down, there's still smoke. And then it's like, oh, hello, Mercy. Like you see Dexter Lumis, and I love that his hands are just kind of like linked together.
Well, here's more.
Yeah.
Well, he literally smashed someone's head into the.
So you like they kind of pan around the room. And you see this guy that there's like, and that's the thing, you see blood. With Bray Wyatt, it was that creepy supernatural vibe, but this is brutality. Again, I said massacre. There is blood on the walls, blood on people, and a big perfect shot. Like this is, he just looks so great. And I love on him, and we'll get to Howdy, that they have the blonde dreadlocks. Just the callback to Bray makes me so happy. And he's still sort of Dexter Lumis-y because he has the gloves on, and you call back to the gloves and the letter things on.
So this reminds me, and I guess kind of, well, less Bray Wyatt's. But this character reminds me, like we're 90s, grew up in the 90s kids. So like to me, Predator, reminds me of the original like Predator like mask with all the dreads, like especially because you see towards the end like the buzzer and everything else. I mean, it's a little obviously longer with the beak and everything, but it reminds me like the Predator. Yeah. Just how crazy it was. Yeah. So, this to me was my favorite character of this whole. Like in terms of presentation of everybody,
I agree.
I honestly think Mercy, or whatever they're calling Dexter Lumis, was the character that looked the best.
So then it kind of pans to him. You see him cross-legged on the whatever case, and then they push in to go back into like the backstage area, and then you see Huskus the Pig Boy, aka Joe Gacy, and I love the new mask. I think it's so like kind of more like that steampunk S to it, and I also love that
it's apocalyptic.
Yes,
it reminds me of, oh my gosh,
like Mad Max.
Yes, Mad Max is a great one. Also, gosh, now I'm blank. American Horror Story. There was one like season where it's like Apocalypse or COVID, one of them, that they had a bunch of like this stuff for like post, but very post-apocalyptic. Again, modernize the characters and make it, renovate it to some extent.
And then he's also, I don't know if this is his character, but he's wearing the plaid, and I feel like the plaid is kind of the callback to Luke Harper.
Yes.
Like Brody Lee. I feel like that's also a callback. I don't know, maybe even like the red.
Which Gacy looked super skinny.
Super skinny. Not that he was like
he was never
big in NXT, but I feel like he's more svelte. I think that's the word I like to use, like we use with Gunter. But like I feel like they let the hand on the head, and they push through, and then they pan to the one person down they actually stay on is Chad Gable.
And this is where things got crazy to me. Well, go ahead.
No, I was to say also because he's holding kind of his like head like and it's kind of like I feel like not necessarily like mirroring like where Chad Gable looks like he got shot.
Well, literally, this is exactly what I thought as a 90s.
Oh my God!
They killed his character. Poor guy.
No, like, and then they later announced like that Chad Gable's pulled from the qualifier match for Money in the Bank next week. So I don't know if this is writing him off. Again, he did resign, so it's not like this is if they're killing him off. And I know in one of their QR codes, you have to click 100 things to find the thing, and apparently there was a thing that said like CG.
Yeah, you said in the beginning of the night.
Like, well, you stopped saying thank you, so it's just like that kind of led to Chad Gable. But then after they pan on Chad Gable, then they pull back up and then they push forward, and there he is in all his glory, looking like the guy from Jeepers Creepers a little bit.
It's the Jesus pose.
Yeah, so it's again, that's the same. But yeah. I just feel like he did the thing and he starts walking forward, and I don't know why I like it. I feel like people kind of crap on him before, but he does that like wrist.
Yeah, he always does
like,
his wrist.
I don't know, like something about it is like creepy, like a weird tick that he does. And then now it's the reverse shot. So now he's walking forward and he kind of like looks at Chad Gable and he's like walking over bodies, and then he pulls in Huskus.
He's tiptoeing around bodies. Like for a second, someone said that he's, I don't know, people were writing online like, oh, he's trying not to spill, like trip over the spilled blood and not be like the Shockmaster. But like I thought it was very like he started walking, and it reminds me so much of like the Jack Sparrow like walk. Like why is the rum always gone?
I don't know, but I'm like not like I thought it was. I liked it. So he was walking back, and he got Huskus, and they walked back, and he's got Mercy, and they walk back, and they got Rambling Rowan, and then they walk out like onto the stage, and they stop, and like Uncle Howdy looks at all kind of three of them, and then they walk out to where Nikki Abbey is, and then they all kind of he grabs Lantern, they all kind of pose, and he's like, "We're here," blows it out. And then it's black for 2 seconds, and then there's a jump cut of Nikki Cross in the mask, like, ah! And I was like, ah! I don't know. I think chapter 1 is Chef's Kiss in my book. On and in and around. I liked it. I think the costumes look incredible. I think it looked super creepy. I feel like it was more brutal than we kind of saw Bray do. To me, I'm giving it 2 thumbs up.
To Nikki I liked it too. Was it 100% what we expected in terms of like destruction? I know Ed called in a couple like last week and he wanted NWO style, which we still might see tonight.
Yeah.
There still might be more. We saw later this week, actually yesterday, the Pat McAfee ending of the show. Well, it really wasn't like we don't really know. It's just the lights went out.
Yeah. So he in the beginning, early again. I'm not a pet watcher. I'm aggregator. So he in some part of his show, he did talk about this segment and did talk about how basically said that Chad Gable's daddy got shot in the head. Said that they're super creepy, and then he's worried about him and Cole staying safe. And then he goes on throughout his show, and his show is like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it's like it's like 2:12 in his show, and you see him kind of look out, and he's like, "What is that? What is that?" And then you hear the same noise, and then the lights go out. And then apparently, as of this recording, they're saying like Pat McAfee hasn't tweeted anything, and when all he does is tweet and post and stuff, that he's been quiet. So people are interested to see how he's going to act on Monday. Like, is he going to be there on Monday, or is he just be too scared to speak, or what have you? I don't know. And then also
that'd be interesting. I mean, yeah, like if he stayed in character and he's like brainwashed, like the doctor was, right? Like,
yeah, the psychiatrist, and then also
psychiatrist, yeah,
same doctor. So also earlier in the week, Adam Pearce's Twitter seemed to get hacked. Early Firefly Funhouse, he came in as Postman Pierce, and they changed this because it said Adam Pearce, and they changed his name to Postman in like creepy text. And they tweeted a picture of him and Abby when like Abby's if you remember, she was in the window, and it's like him walking. It's like a side profile of him and then like Abby.
Let me see if I
can pull it up.
Let's see.
I don't know if it's still up or not. So I like that this is kind of going in again. Like what they did
is
like,
Adam Pearce's Twitter page.
They took over. Well, there was something before that too. Can you scroll? Is that the only thing?
I gotta find it.
Yeah, so people said that it changed to Postman, but there was a picture of him and Abby. I don't know if it's still there. Probably someone screenshotted it with him.
Well,
but anyway, so I like that it's coming out of like their because again, that's what they did with the Twitch stream and the WhatsApp and all that stuff, and now it's like taking over people's Twitters. They're kind of coming out and going out in the wild and messing with Pat's show.
Yeah, who knows? They messed with our show. Hey, Uncle Howdy came in here, and I'm expecting him to come back.
Again, you never know who's.
I'm prepared.
Happy hour, but I think it feels. I know they said they're getting away kind of from the supernatural, but it seems like they're kind of still culty infiltrating.
That was very supernatural to me. All the smoke, everything, all the what was the word? Oh my God, macabre.
Yeah, I
like that word.
Again, like
Jim Ross, thank you for that. Who needs a dictionary when you have Jim Ross? You grew up on Jim Ross and Gorilla Monsoon.
Macabre and not supernatural. I think those are two different. Again,
just because you started reading more books lately, because it's summertime, I'm trying to use big words.
But I don't know. I'm excited to. I want to see if they show up tonight. Because obviously the QR codes were on both shows. I did like when they started off Raw a little weird that you could tell it was like glitching.
Yeah,
I thought that was fun.
Well, yeah, it should be through. Like the focus should have been on them throughout the night. And tonight, I'm curious to see if they attack anyone else. So my other question is, of the Wyatt Five, besides Uncle Howdy, which member of the Wyatt Six looked the best? Like, you looked the best or came across the best to you? Do you either most dangerous or whatever? Who did you like the best?
I think we both agree that I really liked Loomis as Mercy the Buzzard. Whatever they're gonna, I'm interested to see what they're gonna call themselves. But like all their actual Twitters, like Nikki tweeted, she's like, "Did you see my family, or did you meet my family?" And like Casey and Loomis,
and chiming in Postman Pierce. Yes, we'll have to get that up. But
yeah, so it's just like they all kind of tweeted that, like, it's them. So I'm interested if they're going to call her Abby or they're going to call her Nikki. Like, are they going to call her Mercy or is it going to be Loomis? Like, I don't know. I think they look great.
Here's the thing. Do they actually, I guess the question is, like, do they wrestle in the masks? Which I'd feel bad for Joe Gacy if he has to wrestle in that. Because that seems.
I think he's the only one to be able to wrestle in the mask. Like, I don't think Rowan can do anything with that big headdress on. Like, I think they're going to come out.
Wrestling in that, that mask would drive me crazy.
I'm sure it'd be awful, but it's better than that's tall for Rowan. Like, how are you going to be able to do any of your moves? Like, I think they'll just they'll come out like that, and I think they would take it off, just like Rowan did with the sheep's mask. And
you're saying Rowan? Hold on, let me pull this back up.
Yeah, it's huge.
Not if it's a land. Well, yeah.
How are you gonna let one bump?
If you just gotta stay. Hey, listen, they did good.
Give him a chance.
Maybe like the Cody mask, right? Like that he just gave to what's her name on NXT. Oh my gosh.
I don't know how I feel about that. Jane.
Yeah, like maybe it's a Cody type mask in an apparatus.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
like tied to the back of his head. I think that's too big to be tied to the back of the head. I don't know.
Well, the question is how big. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, we need someone who does cosplay and who knows about this to comment. And
I think they're going to come out and take them off.
Yeah, as people are chiming in here, we're warming up here with our topic about the opening here with the Wyatt Sicks debut. But as people come in, again, if you're new here, hit the old like. We call it hitting the old Samoan spike on the like. So hit the like and subscribe. It goes a long way to helping the show. But yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I thought Mercy or whatever we're calling Dexter Lumis, came across the best because he beat up like 7 backstage people.
I'm just excited that they're using people that I feel like we know are good. Like, I love Lumis. Do something with Lumis. Like, why are you not doing something with Nikki Cross? Like, again, you think I don't like Gacy, but like I feel like these are people that I think are going to be so good in this role and just like let this story unfold, and I want to see these characters flourish. And I also feel like Bo kind of deserves it too.
Shane's chiming in here. I hope they wrestle in some type of mask. Bray can wrestle in the Fiend mask where somebody. Yeah. So yeah, Shane's agreeing with me that he wants them to wrestle somewhere, because the other part of it is like. Also,
they're probably super expensive though.
For WWE though, they have money. WWE has more money than we can think of. So like, I don't know, but like, here's the thing. They also like most people, but again, the newer fan may not realize who Rowan is or pick it out. But like the idea behind it is like maybe as each member gets revealed, oh my God, that was Joe Gacy. We didn't think it was Joe Gacy behind that big mask. Oh my God, it was Dexter Lumis, who we hadn't seen him in 12 years since his divorce.
That's going to be so interesting. So obviously we've been wrestling fans for so long and watch every week and do all the things. Imagine having to go back and rewatch all that Bray Wyatt stuff. To rewatch Bray Wyatt for the first time, like, it's got to be so awesome. To be like, oh, what is this? And they're talking about this. Like, let me go back. I hope there's some, like, some young 16-year-olds out there be like, what is this? And I have to go back and do their research. And
it's the nostalgia. Like, to bring it back.
Or it's not necessarily it would be nostalgia for us, but I feel like new kids. I guess maybe for me, going back and like stuff that I missed to go and rewatch, and be like, oh, that was cool, I missed that, or that was stupid. Like to go back and kind of do research. Yeah, I think that's got to be so cool at this point to rewatch. It was SummerSlam at your apartment when we first started, or I guess we were together at this point. But when the Fiend debuted, I remember, wherever the fuck Rob is, when he came out with that lantern of his face, Rob and I looked at each other like, this is amazing. Like, to go and, like, rewatch that and, like, for, like, new eyes would be incredible. Like, I want some kids to go watch that SummerSlam and have their minds blown.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. Let's get through some comments.
Oh, sorry, my sticky notes is covering our comments.
Shane, love the start so far. Yeah, agree. Ed, rewatch for
right?
Rewatch for he was coming. Touche, Ed.
All right, Ed, sir.
They kind of remind me of the Devil's Rejects. Interesting. I never really watched, and both Nikki and I are not.
I did watch House of a Thousand Corpses because
Rob Zombie.
No,
Where's Lisa when we need her? Lisa's loves Rob Zombie.
I need Ed's lady. Chris Hardwick. There you go. I was just Chris Hardwick. He was Living Saint. No, what was that show? And I need to be at this so bad right now. He was hosting with Jenny McCarthy that show on MTV, and then now he's on all the Walking Dead talkback shows.
I have no idea.
No, it wasn't Love Line. It was Singled Out. He was the host of Singled Out. It was Jenny McCarthy, and then it was Carmen Electra. Thank you. So it was Singled Out. Amanda and I used to sneak. We used to sneak down in my parents' house to watch that, just to watch Chris Hardwick. So he was in the movie because he's friends with Rob Zombie, but that was creepy. But I get the sentiment.
Interesting.
Amanda and I were
Steve got it right, and he says I know because I'm old.
We used to. Oh yeah, we definitely should have been watching that show, but we literally waited for my dad to go to bed so we could sneak down and watch it. Anywho, we're very off track.
We're talking 90s stuff here, but it's interesting.
Anywho,
so I guess the answer is that Chad Gable is no longer around. Poor Chad. Oh, hold on. Let me.
Apparently, DDP's in the Devil's Rejects.
Interesting.
R.I.P. Burke.
Exactly, and this one goes out.
Oh my God! They killed.
Just for you. More coming. More drops coming as I.
So I'm excited. I want to see where this goes. We'll get everyone's thoughts later in it.
Yeah, we're gonna open. So as people chime in here, couple things. First off, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. This way, you know when we have shows. Which we have shows every Friday at 6. But even some of our regulars forget sometimes. You ever forget? Happens to me. So make sure you mark your clock, subscribe. You always get turn on notifications. You'll get those. This way, we'll let you know when we're live. But it is a call-in show, so we open up the phone lines after we get through our big 3 topics. So if you have something you want to chime in in the comments, or the call-in link is in the description if you want to call in and let us know what you're thinking and what you're drinking when we open up the phone line soon. So moving into the mid-card here. Hold on, let me get through one last comment. Is it?
No, Shane giving us.
Yeah, Shane.
Thank you, Shane.
Everyone hit that like button. Exactly. Nicely done, Shane. Appreciate it. So we move into the mid-card, our mid-card topic and I don't know if it's going to.
I didn't know the order of this. So.
Well, we're moving to our mid-card, which NXT, which is something we don't cover that often, but NXT continues to open the forbidden door as the 25-man battle royal to determine the number 1 contender for the NXT Championship, men's NXT World Championship. I'm calling it the NXT Championship. Saw a couple crossovers with Frankie Kazarian from Impact coming into the battle. Impact TNA, whatever. TNA Impact. I'm calling it TNA Impact just to keep safe. But Kazarian, who is one of honestly the greatest TNA wrestlers of all time. If you look at his resume, he was in TNA for a long time and did a lot of mid-card titles, tag team titles. I don't think he ever won the world title, but like X Division, tag belts. So a logical choice is like a crossover to this, and of course, say his name.
He'll appear.
And he'll appear. We're gonna be silent because I don't have a good graphic of this, but let's do it. I believe in Joe Hendry. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Hendry. And I know Ed loves this because Ed loves Joe Hendry.
Well, again, we taught Nick who Joe Hendry.
Oh, well, settle down here.
Weeks ago, and now he's on the bandwagon.
I'm not necessarily on a bandwagon. Yes or no? Let's not put the cart before any horse here. Nothing. I am not on any sort of bandwagon. He came out. He cut a promo talking about how sensational he is, and he was over with the crowd. The crowd knew who he was. Got a big pop, a decent enough pop for NXT.
I would say that's a huge pop.
Yeah, I guess, but NXT is a smaller crowd and an enclosed environment. So I don't know. I feel like I'm expecting massive pops from people. I don't know. But I'm not saying it was a bad. I'm not trying to put it down. You're trying to make me a heel in this, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fall for it. But he comes out and he immediately, he confronts Ethan Page and then is immediately eliminated by the whole rest of the NXT, participants in this match. So my question is, first out of the gate, if we're talking about this, I guess, did WWE do Joe Hendry dirty?
I'm going to disagree with you. He came out, his music hit, he came out, he's got the pop, he turns, knew where his camera was, knew where the lighting was, hit the pose, and then got to cut a promo in the beginning of it, which nobody, what's his face? I don't know, it's your guy, Javon Evans,
who ended up winning.
Who won?
Kofi Kingston 2.0. I'm sorry.
So
I know Ed loves him. Sorry.
He got an entrance, but Joe got to cut a promo, and he did get eliminated first. But again, he's feuding with Frankie in TNA. So again, that storyline that plays to that. Again, I think it does a little bit more that he gets thrown out first. Everyone starts chanting bullshit. Sorry, what they do. And then they go backstage, and I know it's a digital exclusive, but he gets a backstage promo with Shawn Michaels saying that they messed up, he needs to come back, blah blah blah, and then he storms off, and then Shawn Michaels I think him cutting that promo and him having that backstage with Shawn Michaels would do more for him than him staying because obviously they knew they're an NXT kid was going to win. So I think Javon and Trick are going to have a fun match, but thanks, dear. Love you, Ed. But it's dude, that does more than him staying halfway through, being a Final Four and get eliminated. This does amazing. Chef's kiss.
So, all right. And now I'm going to get into this. All right. So listen, when I say did they do Joe Hendry dirty, and here's why. All I'm saying is I'm throwing out this topic, not saying yes or no, but you know who used to come out and cut promos all the time in battle royals? Who's actually in TNA now? I think he's still in TNA. Santino Marella. And he used to come out and then get beat up and thrown out. I get it. Is this more I hate to say it, you remember the Zack Ryder type, the internet sensation, we're gonna get him out there and in front of people. And yes, he has a big following, but he's still gonna be the lovable loser at the end of the day. That's all I'm saying.
It's different times, my love. I think him 10 years ago with Vince McMahon, done. I think Triple H and Shawn Michaels with honestly getting over on the internet. I feel if Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona coming up now would be, not that he's not doing amazing things on the indies, because he is, but what Joe is doing now and what Zack was doing back then, in this now era, would be huge. Vince was against people getting over themselves. And I think at this point, Joe is so over, regardless where it's in ICW, is he at North, he was at WCPW, wherever he goes, his song back in May was number 4 in the UK charts. He's I think at this point, the most viewed YouTube clip for WWE. I know he was second, but I think he actually broke the Wyatts at this point. Yeah. Again, you can correct me down below. But I'm I don't see how this is bad. He's the most watched YouTube thing. I don't think this is bad or dirty at all.
No, that's dirty. I just mean should he have gotten more of a run, been in the match for more than 30 seconds?
If you
make him more credible as a challenge.
You're first.
Settle down, Ricky Bobby.
That's what I'm saying. It's just what I said about Cody. Cody wasn't ending the show, so I might as well have him open. Again, if you're not going to have him go the distance, cut a promo, get the storyline over for TNA, do your promo with Shawn Michaels, and he's going to be he's in England this weekend for Bleeding Heart Pro Wrestling.
He was number 2 for the Wyatts. Is that in terms of?
I think the views. I think at first it was the Wyatts, and he was number 2. But I thought I heard.
Yeah, he overtook.
He overtook, but I could be wrong.
So that also begs a question. So right, we talked about Joe Hendry, but the other person that was in this match, at least in terms of profile, big right in the beginning, was Ethan Page, right? So the couple things that I look at is when you look at the NXT roster, I thought it was interesting that like we talked about the Forbidden Door being open and like, yeah, they're signing people like Ethan Page is signed to NXT. But when you look at it, the people that I thought stood out to me in this whole match, Ethan Page, right? Joe Hendry got his promo in the beginning. Lexus King, Brian Pillman Jr. was a big name in this match. Like he had some spots. He eventually got eliminated. The final two was Javon Evans and Sean Spears, who, and you and I talked about this. I know he was Ty Dillinger in NXT, but he made his name as Sean Spears in AEW and comes back as Sean Spears. So it's another name that you talk about. So you have, and Kazarian. So you have Kazarian, Joe Hendry, Brian Pillman Jr., whatever, Lexus King, Sean Spears in there, right? Like there's five of the 25 were basically names that weren't in the WWE system or currently in the system for NXT. So I just think it's really interesting that the Forbidden Door, so to speak, is open, right? And what I ask is what I'm curious is like, who's next? So is Moose one of the names? Like who we've seen Kazarian, like in terms of impact, it seems to be the big impact names, right? Like Kazarian came over and like names that kind of draw a line. Joe Hendry was is a big impact name, right? Who could be next? Could it be Moose? Could it be, the system or who? I'm not sure. I know Ed watches TNA a little bit more than we do. So Ed, I want to hear who you're thinking.
Yeah. So also, I think with the last weekend where we talked about
Matt and Jeff. Interesting, Matt.
Yeah, because they were at the Against All Odds last week, and I believe that they came out.
But do you consider Matt? And I don't consider that.
They haven't signed, so they can. I really wanted to see Matt, and because he tweeted that he's like, oh, maybe he'll pop up over there. But also Jordan Grace calls it the prohibited portal, and I like that more than Forbidden Door.
Prohibitive portal, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last week. It's a great name.
Talk about it again.
The prohibitive portal. Butt stuff.
What?
It said butt stuff. Prohibitive portal.
Any whoosies.
But yeah, like again, like a lot of the prominent people in that in this match were literally ex AEW or TNA people. So it's exciting.
I think this is the new version of Triple H's global localization. I think he's setting up basically a territory system again. He's with TNA. He's doing stuff with Marigold. Like, Io Sky is going to be doing a show in July, and AJ Styles is doing a show in Noah. I can't do a Triple H. No, that's not working.
No,
because it's a joke. Like Tom Campbell does on Cultaholic that, like, how Triple H talks. Yeah. So it took me a minute to get there, but like. So AJ has a match in Noah in July. So it's like he's building these little partnerships. And apparently there's numbers.
So what you're saying is you don't know how to do that accent.
Lord have Mary. And apparently there was something going on in the sheets that he's trying to look for either a Mexican or Puerto Rican federation to work with. So I think maybe it's not going to be NXT Europe or NXT UK or Japan or India UK NXT, but I think he's going to make partnerships with all these little, I don't want to say TNA's little, but like all these other
so little,
but like all these places to kind of be a feeder system. Because as soon as Jordan Grace is contract's up, she's gone. As soon as he can grab Joe Hendry, he's gone. I just feel like this is kind of like his little feeder system up to NXT, up to Maine.
Yeah.
That's,
Very well. I mean, I wouldn't mind it. Like you see, that was the beauty of the whole Forbidden Door idea with AEW, is that you get to see different matchups you wouldn't normally get to see. So that's exciting. And I just want to see, like, we want to see who come. Like, there's not everyone's going to jump ship, right? Like either way, but it gives more more opportunity to certain feuds that you'll never see.
Yeah. Do you see the old kids come back? Like we saw, Ash by Elegance kind of interfere. She didn't really interfere, but like with the heat battle, heat wave with like the Jordan Grace match, and she came out. And, like, do you bring? And then Mustafa Ali already said that he wanted to come back. Like, do you bring Ziggy back, or I'm sorry, Nick Nemeth? Like people that were NXT or WWE kids to come back, is that easier?
I think I think some of it has to do with the exposure, right? Like, Dash by Elegance, Dana Brooke, some of our residual fans that are watching NXT that are religious to WWE know who she is, so it gives some credibility. And I think the idea is that stemming off the invasion or whatever you're calling it, that some people go back and think, Dana Brooke or Ash, she's in there, and let's see who she's feuding with, and put more eyeballs on their product that way.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I mean,
I know.
Steve goes, NWA Corgan needs some money. Honestly, NWA would be great. I don't think he's in NWA anymore, but Alex Hammerstone I've heard a lot about, and he seems like a perfect. Yeah, he was a perfect WWE type.
Also, it's going to be interesting in October because apparently, again, I have not really watched NWA. But aren't they on CW? And then in October, NXT is going to be on CW. Because they're trying to do the first show on CW to kind of be like not the Full Sail or not performance or where they are now. I know it's not. Is it not Full Sail anymore? I don't know where they are. But they want to do like a big show, and the rumor is like
Triple H's basement.
It's Chicago.
It's in the McMahon. It's in Triple H and Stephanie McMahon's basement. That's where they're filming NXT.
But to give it a big feel, and I feel like I was huge in Black and Gold days. I kind of fizzled out with 2.0. I try to stay, at least cognizant of what's going on. Thanks, Ed.
Yeah, Ed said streaming on CW, and he also said he's sort of doing TNA stuff, Hammerstone. So yeah, so that would be a nice little wrinkle.
But honestly, it was hard to get through watching the rest of the NXT. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not a huge Roxanne Perez fan.
I know you hate her.
I know. She's
not to the level that you hate Nia Jax, but
I feel like and I guess that's her thing, like that whiny, heely, like me. But her the caked on makeup is just so extra. I don't know.
Why do you hate her so much?
Why? I criticize one person, you're like, oh,
I know, it's just so fun.
Next topic,
this is funny. I like it. Anyway, we move on as cooler heads prevail. Well, we love you. I love messing with you. Anyway, so we move on.
Oh, well, now it's really gonna be bad.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah. We know the next. Oh, we know what's coming. So, our third topic of the evening: Seth Rollins has returned to Raw, to Monday Night Raw, to challenge Damian Priest. If you missed it, let's catch you up, and we'll. And we're back. So, Seth Rollins has returned to Monday Night Raw. Let me let you.
Monday Night Raw, sure.
Nikki, as you know already, I think you know where Nikki stands on some things. So, Nikki, ladies first.
Literally, we were sitting in bed watching this, and his music hit, and I literally shouted, "My baby's back!" It's my baby. Again, for those who don't know, like Seth Rollins is my jamborees. But so he comes out. Everyone's obviously chanting his name. He kind of pauses for a little bit, lets them sing. He bows, takes his hat off. He cut his hair. It's super short. Don't know how I feel about it. But then he's basically welcomes everyone to Monday Night Rollins, and then they're chanting and all this stuff. And he's like, I'm just gonna cut to the chase. I'm back for one reason, to be the very best of all time. And I can't do that without getting back the championship that I made this championship. And then he kind of looks up at the briefcases and he's like, oh, Money in the Bank's only a few short weeks away. He's like, I can climb a ladder pretty well. I'm familiar with the Money in the Bank contract. It's the fastest way to get into the mix. And then Priest music hits. And then it's all rise, and then it's all booze. So he was like, he's like, real talk. I seriously wanted to thank you, welcome you back. He's like, but I want you to know, real talk, I wanted to cash in on you. He's like, out of respect, I wanted to be World Heavyweight Champion by beating you. But he's like, but I'm doing okay. But I need you to know it's not Monday Night Rollins. It's All Rise for El Campeon. And then Seth goes into, which we talked about earlier today. He's like, you and I are a lot alike. We made our name in groups. He's like, you with the Judgment today, and me with the greatest group of all time, the Shield. Pop. He's like, we both won the Money in the Bank contract. And he's like, we both waited a long time to cash in. But when we did, we made our marks. Because we cashed in at the grandest stage of them all, or WrestleMania. He's like, but there's one thing that separates us. He's like, I grew a set. And everyone's like, oh. He's like, I knew I needed to stand on my own 2 feet. He's like, what kind of champion are you? What kind of legacy you're going to do? He's like, or are you just going to be a footnote in the history of the Judgment Day? I was waiting for you to say.
Oh,
I'll keep going. I'm so conditioned for you to tell me to stop.
It's. I know. Well, I figured I'd let you go for a little bit. So starting off, it's the typical classic you can't do it without the group promo. He's got to do it on his own, right? What's next? He did Clash at the Castle on his own without the group. So what's next? I feel like this is setting up some sort of, again, we talked about the face turn the last couple of times with Priest and just how kind of it seems like he's the one turning. And even he later in this promo, I don't know, he says, he's like, I came out here on my own. They don't know I'm here.
Yeah. That's where I sort of stopped. Yeah,
so but that point is, I think the seeds are still planted in terms of him being, is this time for the Damian Priest face turn? Is he looking more, he's doing face-ish, that's tough to say, face-ish things as champion, hey, I'm going to do all these things without the group that he's already set up. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. So the also question before we finish this segment, maybe I don't know if it's was this, and I'm gonna stop right here. Was this too soon for Seth's return in terms of, again, absence makes the heart go fonder? Was this kind of too soon? I'm not sure.
I feel like I sit on both sides of the fence here because my heart is just or I guess maybe my brain is all right, well, he was so knackered after WrestleMania, and you saw how he was limping, and basically they were carrying him, and he was crying, and Cody was like, thank you, and then with Becky taking some time off, I was like, all right, let's be you, Becky and Ruby, your little family, and do you things and heal up and be safe and be healthy because I want to have you for forever. But then when he came out, I was like, yes, boy.
Oops.
You just kicked me out of the studio.
Wrong one.
Because
Wrong person. Sorry.
He kicked me out because I was talking about my hall pass. But then, I was my brain is get healthy, come back healthy, spend time with your family. Him and Becky are on the road all the time. Yeah. But when his music hit, you heard me. I like was so pumped and so excited. I was like, my mom is back. I love it. I'm here for it. You know, I love him on my screen. I think I guess I don't want to say I missed him more than I realized, but kind of was like once he came out and his music and everyone's chanting and you see Seth or Cole and Pat like they were doing the woes and it's just like, oh, he's such a fucking star to me. I think he's such a big deal. I love him immensely. I'm worried that it came back too soon. I guess we'll have to see how Money in the Bank goes. I'm gonna say right now, as much as I adore and love Seth Rollins, he's losing at Money in the Bank.
Well, that was actually my question. Does Seth dethrone Damian? That was my next question. So you leave me.
I think, again, in this promo, Seth's like, he's like, I did it all. I've done it all. He's done everything. Like, Seth can, I think maybe at this point in his career, which sounds so crazy because he's still young, but like, I think a decisive win, Priest needs a good win. And I think Seth putting him over for the championship that he created, that he loved, that he pushed for, I think that does more because I think Seth makes people look good.
Oh yeah, he makes everybody.
I think the way he sells, the way he makes Cody. The 3 matches with him and Cody were incredible. The matches with like no one talks about like anymore, but like the match with him and Matt Riddle. Like I feel like Priest needs a decisive win, and I think Seth can give that to him. But I've missed this man on my TV. I would want her to be home with Becky more, but I do like the man on my TVs.
Husband here, listen, your hall pass. Care about that.
You admitted to me that he watched Mariah May shove her boobs in Layla Hirsch's face on loop. I can say I love Seth.
I didn't say I watched that on loop.
Watch the show from last week.
I definitely didn't watch that on loop. Maybe for like spurts, but not on loop. Not on loop.
I don't like it. You can watch boob on boob. I can watch Seth Rollins take off a jacket.
Take off a jacket. Whew.
Take off your pants and jacket, kid.
Hey, settle down over there.
Blink-182 album.
No. Great album, actually. That's just one of the only ones I bought, sadly. Because everything else was, that was the Napster era.
Honestly, I think it's one of their underrated albums.
And spurts. Exactly. So, that being said,
Girl.
we are through our topics. So, do you want to open up the phone lines? Again, it's a call-in show.
Yes.
So, feel free to chime in. Let us know what you're thinking, what you're drinking. So, do the honors in 3, 2. All right, let's get to it.
Get into it.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by the tail. All right, let's bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, he's going this tonight by talent name. I believe it's Steve.
Yeah, who else would it be?
Steve, what are you thinking? What are you drinking on a Friday night?
Ice. I don't know if you noticed, it's hot as balls out.
That it is.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
That's why we broadcast from our bar in our basement, where it's nice and cool.
From the bunker, yeah. Oh,
So what are you thinking?
Geez, in no particular order. How about that camera shot of Braun Breaker going all the way around the ring and spearing Kaiser?
Oh, that was brutal.
Oh my God, what a camera shot that was. Oh,
Just like
whoever is setting this up, give them a raise and sign them to a lifetime contract.
yeah, no, that was like because they showed it on a replay and it just like every time I watched it, I was like, oh. I think.
Yeah, usually we just see them just like coming around the corner, but you saw them go all the way around. know, like, oh man.
Well, he's just like such an athletic freak
Mhm.
that, like, you know, he played fullback in the NFL. Like, he runs, I think, like a 4.6 40. So to put him in that environment, he's just running full speed.
Yeah. And that was you know, between that and the Slipknot video that premiered at the end of Raw, you know, that was some pretty good.
Sorry, I think for a second I didn't really catch on, and then you just snuck it by.
Oh,
Classic
no.
Steve.
So not a fan then, Steve?
I didn't even know they had a new album out, you know.
Steve, you don't like the Wyatts like that, or the Wyatt Sicks? Are you not a fan of the?
To me, I mean, you know, this is great. I enjoyed the production of it, but I mean, let's remember, I mean, except for Gacy, who's not been on the main roster yet, these were all jobbers, more or less, jobbers to the stars. Let's see what they can do in the ring. The way they've been presented, they should be able to, they should be dominating. I mean, not just the lower level performers, but, you know, the people that we actually expect some fight from.
So, all right, I'm going to push back on you now because you said they're lower mid-level jobbers. I disagree because, first off, Nikki Cross is a multiple-time champion.
Yeah.
So right out the gate, Nikki Cross probably is not like so. Cause that, yeah, like Gacy led his own faction.
Well, yeah. Well, we don't know because he's not been up from NXT until now, so he's the only one we don't know. Maybe you could say if Alexa Bliss eventually does join the group, you can't say that about her, obviously.
Right.
She's had quite the record, but I mean, you know, Bo, Uncle Howdy Dallas, Loomis Eric Rowan was jobbing.
Loomis wasn't really jobbing though. I mean, well, he lost to Miz in that weird Money in the Bank thing, but he was like choking him out every week.
You know, let's see what they do in matches.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Well,
squash people who we wouldn't expect to be squashed, and then I'll believe it. But you know, it's a pretty impressive look. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's so. Steve, do you think they show up tonight?
Tonight?
Yeah,
I don't know. It seems like they're building it up that they might do just that, or you know, we'll see. I don't know. I think that's actually part of the point. They want to keep you guessing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like with the Pat McAfee stuff, I would love that. Like, I really am curious. Well, McAfee's Raw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he would still have some time. Like if Raw, I want to see how he acts on Raw.
Also, to counterpoint, the letters in the video said CG. CG also could be Corey Graves.
Possibly.
Because they did something with Pat. If they're going maybe after announcers, and then there was another CG that I had in my brain, and then I lost it.
Chelsea Green, but I don't think that's her. You know,
unless Nikki goes after her.
CG. Yeah, I'm sure. Besides
maybe
Chad
it was
Gable.
Chelsea Green I was thinking of, but
I mean, also, is this a face group or a heel group?
So, oh my gosh, that's exactly what she didn't let me put it up. Ugh, that got me so angry. Oh, I was about to put that in the comments, and she's like, "Don't do that because it doesn't matter." You have no idea. Thank you. Hold on a second. We're gonna.
You have a graphic already for this?
No. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I was like, exactly. Are they a face or a heel? Because no one has any idea. They beat the crap out of a worst heel.
It doesn't matter. They're this. But again, you get so hung up on face or heel. I think they're above this. If they're going to be this like kind of like final boss creepy faction, then it does not matter. I can't. I'm terrible at impressions.
It doesn't matter.
It does not matter. Like clearly, they went after Chad Gable, who's a heel, And I feel like it's like
That seems kind of heelish to me.
Going back through the promos with Chad and Otis saying this is a family, and how Chad Gable treated his family. And Uncle Howdy's whole thing was like bringing people to his family that were mistreated by other families. So they're going to go after him for crapping on his and hurting his family. Like, this is not what you do to me.
See what happens when you're mean to your family?
I could be grasping at straws here, but this is
Steve,
how I feel.
I have to do it. I have to get this over.
Oh, God.
Oh my God! They killed.
How long did that take you?
Not nearly as long as I thought it would.
You understand, like, now Nick's nothing but in our basement toiling over videos.
This is what goes in to make this show great.
And music.
This is how
I've lost him to this. We've been doing this podcast since the end of January, and I've lost him to this.
He's got a guy's got a new toy,
Exactly. Listen, I just press buttons like this one. And eventually we get likes, hopefully, if people are listening in. All you people in the chat, you better start chiming in and hitting the like. Anyway, sorry, Steve.
Now here's another thing with this though. What are they going to do Monday? Like, they kind of written themselves into a corner. They killed everybody, I think, except Drew and Jay.
No, because apparently Braun Strowman got out alive, and so did like 6 other people that tweeted. Apparently,
well, that's the thing. Like, they were like, "Oh, you don't. Where's Triple H? There's no who escaped. Who did they let go?"
Yeah, like they're all they're all dead. So who's left? How you gonna? Let's see him back out of this now.
It'd be great.
What?
I'm just saying, if the ratings dip on Raw, I would just be like, well, clearly we lost our whole production staff, so can't blame me.
This is why I think they took over Postman Pierce's Twitter. They can get away with this because he's the GM, and maybe they have some power over him.
Voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Voodoo.
Did they also kill AEW's ratings this week? By the way,
they did. They did go
500,000. Jesus.
Listen, we're only in this household. We're only 2 people. I think we only count as one view. Yeah, 2 people watching one TV. We can only do so much.
The crowd was so dead.
And they can't blame it on basketball. They can't blame it on hockey. It was a holiday. Maybe they could, put that into it. But I mean, there really wasn't anything for them to blame it on this time. So I'd like to see how they brush it off. But I mean, come on, just barely over 500,000. I mean, they got absolutely trounced by NXT.
Don't worry. It's all going to change once they get good. Like, they get everything ready with Mercedes Moné and Okada, and they put the belt on Ospreay, my boy, in this next. Because that all all that is probably coming in the next.
I saw a figure that the viewings of on Twitter, X, whatever, of Joe Hendry's debut on NXT had more views than the videos for the debuts of Okada, Ospreay, and Moné combined.
That's insane.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's they got some. Tony's got some work to do. Let's just say that.
Yeah, he can start by hiring a booker.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
I don't know. After watching Who Killed WCW, I don't know if you want that Booker man.
Yeah, well, listen, Eric Bischoff wasn't terrible. Like, some of the TNA stuff wasn't bad.
I did 4 come out, or was that next?
No. We were all caught up.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a watch. I was thinking about. I'm talking out loud, and Nikki's gonna. But like, I was thinking about us doing like a review of that, or some sort of like episodic review eventually, just for the hell of it. Because as we expand out the Nick Club Wrestling Network.
Always good to branch out.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it so far, but it still feels like it has sort of a WWE kind of rose.
Everything has a
glasses
WWE
over it.
rose gold because you can't go against the family. You can't do
I don't
that.
know.
And
I
you
know.
can't
Like,
you can't screw up the
They
family.
cut to The Rock talking a lot, and it bothers me. It's like,
Because he's an executive, he's an
he is the
EP.
executive producer.
He's on the
like-
board.
He's like, I would go back and watch what they were doing, and I was like, did you?
He didn't.
And he's like, I loved what they were doing. I was like, did you?
I know. If you read his book, he wasn't doing it.
I know a lot of it feels real. I don't know,
But-
and like Kevin Nash is an ass in it.
Yeah, well, Kevin Nash. But anyway, Steve, last shot before we let you go.
Do I want to do this?
I'm sure
Okay.
you-
Yeah. I promise I won't be long. May I say something serious for a minute, please?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I want to talk about my friend Jamie, who I've known for got to be at least 35 years. We met when we were working together at a phone research place, back when they still called, actually had people still calling other people to get their opinions on stuff. And, she's always been there for me. And even when she got married and moved to Maryland to start a family, always wanted to make sure that I was taken care of. Didn't get to see her much across the miles. A lot of times, she and the family would come up here. A couple of times I would go down there. She always looked out for me. She was there for people. That's what she did. When I told her that I was participating in this podcast some months ago, she thought it was great because, she knows that I have some trouble speaking sometimes. And she thought this would be good. She agreed with me that she thought this would be good practice. And, there couldn't be anything, anything but benefit from it. I said, great. So you'll watch it? She said, no, I don't understand any of that stuff. So I tried to get her. She's from here, but she's of Scottish heritage and big into Scottish heritage. I thought that I was going to have an entryway with Clash at the Castle. Card from Scotland, Scottish crowd, which was great, by the way. Three matches involving Scottish wrestlers. And I told her about that in the middle of the week last week. I said, if you have Peacock, give it a shot. So I bring this up because about my friend because, and this is where the serious part comes in. As last Friday's show was winding down, I think Ed was still on at the time. I received word that Jamie had passed away suddenly. And it was a shock to me. She had been my closest friend for all this time and always encouraged me and was super positive. And it's been a hard week as I went down to Maryland for her wake and her funeral. And I just want to, give a tribute to her and say thank you for all your help. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
No, well put.
Good night.
I need everyone to raise their glass to Jamie right now. Beautiful
Yeah.
soul. Thank you, Stephen. Again,
Thank you. And shout out to her husband, Bill, and her two kids, Willie and Cameron. Thank you. I will miss you greatly.
Well put. Well, R.I.P.
Again, Stephen, I love having you on this call. I think you're so articulate and you bring up some great points. And I love that she pushed you to kind of come out of your shell a little bit and talk to us because I think you definitely bring value to our show. We love you here. So to you, to Jamie, to her family, rest in power.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Stephen, we love you.
You don't get cut off with a statement like that and a great
That was beautiful.
tribute.
Thank you, everyone, again, to Jamie, to Steve's friend, to the family.
Trying to bring it back. That's tough, but it's good. It's good. No, and honestly, that's what we love. That's why we're here. Like, it's to bring everybody together on a Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern time Now it's 7 p.m. But like, we want to bring everyone together around the things that we love, and people like that, Jamie, who support, the people who support us and just support like that's what wrestling is. That's what we're all about. It's a community, right?
Yeah,
like,
we're
it's all about being
definitely
together.
our little tribe, our little community, our little regulars. Like, this is a safe space, and we support each other and we love each other, and we're good. It's good.
Exactly. All right,
Steven, we love you.
Yeah. Cheers to that. All right. So we got some other people on the line here. So let's bring him in. He joined us last week for the first time. So now we're bringing him in again. Ladies and gentlemen, Mikey. Welcome in, Mikey.
Hey!
Hi. Happy to be back for a second time now.
Second shot. Yeah, there we go. We're getting him drunk on the front.
Get it, girl.
I love it. Let's see.
What are you drinking?
So what I was drinking, I just finished a mango Arizona iced tea. So that's what I was drinking.
Hey, everyone's drinking something at the bar. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be alcoholic.
Yeah. Okay. So my big talking point, and I got to keep this quick because in about 15 minutes, I have to go do my own review for certain other promotions.
Yeah, Mikey, before you start, give a plug for your podcast here.
Yes. So you if you weren't here last time, I am Mikey. I am the head of the Biconics Wrestling Podcast, also BC WrestlePod on the YouTubes, pretty much everywhere social media wise. We also do audio podcasts for all our stuff too. It's a lot. It's crazy. It's a good time though too. So my biggest talking point from the last couple of days has been watching a lot of folks talk about, the possibility of what's going to happen with this working relationship between NXT and TNA. As somebody who has been covering this for a very, very long time, on the one hand, I'm super excited because it gives both the NXT kids, as I call them that, because most of them are fairly new to wrestling, being able to work with some of the standout talent in TNA. As we saw at Against All Odds for TNA's pay-per-view this past weekend, Tatum Paxley got a chance to square up with Jordan Grace, which was, I knew I wasn't going to get a 5-star classic because Tatum is still learning, but I think this was a really good test for Tatum, and she held her own as best as she could with her skill set as it is now against Jordan. It was really, really great. But where, as of right now, again, because we're early in the relationship, as much as I love both NXT and TNA, so far, NXT has gotten more of the up and up when it comes to this working relationship because we had Jordan versus Roxanne at Battleground. Tatum and Ash had a segment at Battleground with that belt, which has tied into Ash and Jordan feuding for the title, which probably is going to be the Slammiversary match between the two of them.
That's
and Tatum
exciting to me because they are so familiar, like similar, like both like when she was like whatever it was 3-4 years ago, Dana Brooke, before all the changes, like they're very similar, like both built and jacked as hell. I would love this, like. And you probably, because you've covered a lot more, like I haven't seen her as the Ash by Elegance, like in the ring, like the fluidity, like I don't know. It'd be interesting to see because like I want it like we talk like meat. What does Big E say? Big meaty men on big meaty men, like with women, like
slapping big meaty meat.
I want to see that. I don't know, but
I am looking forward to the collision between Jordan and Ash only because this has been building for the last couple of months, and so now we're finally getting the starting route to it, which makes me super excited. I'm hoping that as this working relationship goes along, that TNA is able to get more because, again, you had Frankie Kazarian and Joe Hendry be in that battle royale to determine who faces Trick at Heatwave, which don't even get me started because as much as I like Javon Evans, I'm like, are you sure you didn't want to put Sean Spears or Ethan Page? But it might be that we might be getting a triple threat, or we might be getting a fatal 4-way between.
You mean Kofi Kingston 2.0? I'm sorry, I can't tell. It's the same tights, the dress, like he does the kick, he does the I know it's a variation, but it's like the Trouble in Paradise. He does it. Like,
I like Javon Evans. I know a little bit about his work on the independents before he got signed. I think the kid is very talented. I can't wait to see him, go far into this company once he kind of hones into his moveset and grows a little bit more. Because as much as I love the flashy kind of high moveset that he does, there needs to be also a growth when it comes to more grounded wrestling. I think he's going to be great. I love Javon. But at the beginning of NXT this week, I had a big concern. I'm like, so Trick is still learning. Javon is still learning. You learn by, wrestling more. But I had a concern that this was our main event for Heatwave. And then everything that transpired at the end, I was like, okay, now I feel a little bit more better with everything. But why couldn't you just did that at the beginning? All right, sure, fine. I love NXT, but sometimes the booking decisions and the way that they get to certain places, I'm like, you guys went the roundabout way to get there. It's okay to go to the direct route.
Did you hear? I don't know who he interviewed with, but like HBK came out and did an interview with somebody, I can't remember who, and he basically said he values the charisma element and the showmanship over putting on like a 5-star match, because he's like the elements of putting together a decent match, like you can put together an semblance of a half decent match, but you can't get the charisma. Like prime example is Frankie Kazarian, right? Like he's the type of guy, great match, right? Like he puts on great match after great match, and year over year, he should have been a TNA champion how many years ago? And like he was in what, Fortune? He was in like how many different groups was that guy in? And like, but he phenomenal wrestler in the ring, but just didn't get over on any gimmick or charisma or anything like that. Like, and that's where like it's interesting to me, because like I get Javon Evans, but like to me he's very much an in-ring performer. He's super athletic, but like the charisma aspect, I mean, again, I haven't really heard him, but
that is sort of why the Ethan Page Trick Williams match I don't think quite hit, because I think they're both good, but I feel like they need a better dance partner.
Well, and then on top of that too, because if this does go to a fatal 4-way at Heatwave, I do appreciate who's in the ring, because you still got Trick, who's defending that championship, Javon, but you also have Ethan Page, and you also have Sean Spears too. 2 of those 4 individuals have been doing this for a while, so I'm like, this is where it was. But that's what I'm hoping that, again, kind of circling back, this is where I want the NXT TNA working relationship to go, because I feel that TNA stars get that more mainstream appeal, because WWE is the bigger product, so more eyes are on there. Joe Hendry got over by being an internet meme, and then in the wrestling community, and now he's in this battle royale for like all of 5 seconds. But I do think that we're not done seeing Mr. Hendry in some capacity, because that kind of walk-up spot to HBK after the battle royale, and hearing reports that he's going to be doing more stuff with NXT, I'm cool with, and I'm excited for. What I'm hoping is that whereas the TNA stars get this more mainstream appeal, I would love to see the TNA folks come on over and work with some of the talent and to sharpen their skill sets in a little bit. For me personally, because again, covering NXT and TNA, I would love to see, I don't know, someone like Josh Alexander pop into NXT and go one-on-one with somebody. We just saw Jordan Grace go up against Roxanne Perez, which, was, despite how the match at Battleground ended, which I didn't particularly like, the match itself was fantastic. Right. You can also build up, be like, hey, you know what? We have women's tag teams and factions in this division. I don't know if the NXT kids are ready to go up against somebody like Masha Slamovich in the tag team division yet.
Girl.
But, for the men's tag team division too, I'm just thinking like ABC, like with Ace Austin and Chris Bay, working with some of the men's tag teams. There is so much potential there. I'm just, again, we're still early in the stages. I just hope that TNA, for all intents and purposes, will be able to get more out of what they've been doing so far. But, I would love, if the rumors are true, eventually this does lead to a Worlds Collide kind of thing, because there are so many matches I want to see so badly.
Yeah, exactly.
What was that? It was Brody Lee versus who? Was that Worlds Collide match that blew everyone's brains? And it was the first Worlds Collide match. It was Brody who was left off of the Bray Randy stuff that should have been triple threat.
Oof.
He had a match with somebody.
Ed says he doesn't remember.
God damn it, Ed, you're supposed to be my brain.
You blew it, Ed.
I don't know. I'm like, my phone's upstairs.
We'll figure it out. Well, someone in the comments will eventually figure it out. But Mikey, we know you got the show coming up. Before we let you go, last shot.
My last shot, just two quick things. Shameless plug, go check out the Biconics Wrestling Podcast. We're doing a lot of things. We are gearing up this upcoming week because we got a lot of stuff planned. Forbidden Door season is upon us, and Forbidden Door is literally next weekend. So we're covering all that with go-home shows for Dynamite and Collision. And also, we may or may not throw each other under the bus when it comes to predictions. So we're working it out. And then, of course,
yeah,
so great. That was my main shot, but a quick sidebar. We have a predictions league for each of the federations that we cover at the podcast. So everybody is pretty cordial, but the AEW crew, the four of us, kind of just get buck wild when it comes to things. So which is going to be
sounds
fantastic.
about right. We did on our preview show for AEW for the last paper. What was it called? Whatever it was. Dynasty. We got a little rowdy, but I won. I won. So it's all good.
It's true what they say. The winners are able to etch their names in history and dictate the story, because all that matters is who won.
History is told by the winners. History is told by the winners. Well, Mikey, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Happy to be here.
You sir, are cut off. I can't talk.
Should you be cut off?
I'm good.
Yeah, words.
What?
No. So, I'm sure Ed, correct me. It was Dijak. That's who I was thinking of, and that was not coming to my brain. But Brody and Dijak had a match at Worlds Collide, and he should have been in that triple threat. And it makes me angry every day of my life that he was not. That was not a triple threat match.
Well, yeah.
But let's have spooky bugs.
Spooky bugs.
Don't get me started.
All right. Well, he's been commenting in. He's got a lot to say about a lot of things. So let's bring him in.
Nice bringing him in.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's waited a while to say, I'm sure, his piece. And I'm sure he's going to give us a number of points. Ladies and gentlemen, Ed.
How dare you?
Hey, hold on. I'm taking it. Oh, unbelievable. I bring him back in.
Hey, how's it going?
That was much better. Much more positive, Ed.
How's your lips? Wait. Oh, man. All right. What am I thinking? What am I drinking? I'm drinking a cherry obituary liquid death. It's pretty good.
Interesting.
What? Don't judge me.
I don't like it. I don't like my water should not be in a can.
All right, that's fine. Hey, it's fine. Not for nothing. Shout outs to Mikey. I'll go. I was going to say, shout outs to Mikey, the Biconics name. Fantastic.
Touche.
Okay.
But yeah, let's, because I kind of want to work backwards here. And I had a bunch of stuff I wanted to go through. And then Steve threw me for a loop with the whole Jamie thing. So also shout outs to Jamie. But so that, yeah, just completely just knocked my entire list down. But you were asking before, who I would want to see in a TNA crossover with NXT. I mean, you're right. Give me Moose. Give me the rest of the system, I think is the name of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Macklin popping back in could be kind of neat. Nick Nemeth would be funny to me.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like, why'd you leave? But I get why he left, him getting to do blood sport.
That's kind of like like that whole like Dana Brooke thing. I was like, why? Yeah, like if you're gonna be the one to cross over, then what the hell was the point in leaving?
Because you get to you get kind of a new lease on life, and you're a different character. You're not handcuffed by what was. Although I do feel that like where you are now with new creative, you aren't handcuffed in the same way you would have been. It was neat to see Kaz. You know, the couple of TNA guys that popped over was kind of neat to see in that battle royal. I did want to bring up Hendry too, because if we're going to talk about the battle royal, let's do that.
I did it. Hold on. Pause it just for you.
Listen, I just like that he name drops the prestigious thing in the in his song, because like, yeah, if you've been following him for long enough, him being the prestigious one, Joe Hendry.
Yep.
Shout out to WCPW. Like,
Yep.
it was good times. When that was good, that was good.
Made me know.
Although, and not for nothing, Nick, if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor, because Nikki, I'm pretty sure you have, but any of his ICW stuff was fantastic. It may or may not be like, you know, all-timer 5-star Meltzer heatless bangers, you know what I mean? But him and his little program that he was doing with the then Drew Galloway, the guy's entire bit was doing parody songs of you know, popular songs. Exactly. Yeah. So him doing Eiffel 65 in the tune of I'm Drew was so good.
So good.
But yeah, no, I don't feel like he was buried at all. I agree 100% with what Nikki was saying. That like he got the spot, you know. So Kaz comes out first and he gets his little bit, and then 23 other guys come out, and then Joe Hendry gets a spotlight, and then gets the backstage segment. You know, and it took 24 other guys to beat him up and throw him out.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Well, fair point.
Yeah, I think it was perfect. I really do.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. And you know, I mean, I am a little biased because I am a big DPW guy. So seeing, you know, Javon Evans get a win this early, interesting choice. But I get what they're doing. They're going to give him that.
Guy, man. You came on here how many times?
You went a couple weeks ago. You're like, oh, this guy, and then he a month and a half later, he wins the battle royal.
I just can't get past. Again, like he's the high flyer. The yellow and blue tights, like he does the kick, like it's so much like the twisting kick, like that's like Trouble in Paradise, like it's like so much. I get like he's a high flyer, but like that's so surprising. Like the whole statement that I was saying before about like Shawn Michaels is all about like he claims he's more about charisma, you know, than in-ring ability. Like this is an athletic guy who's great in the ring. Again, I don't watch admittedly NXT as much as should. Like I didn't see like everything they're talking about is like, oh yeah, he's overcoming an ankle injury or whatever the injury was, and like
and he's flying around all over the place. Like, is he?
Yeah, yeah. Meanwhile, he's jumping 45 feet across the ring.
Well, you got to remember too that he's still learning. He hasn't been wrestling very long, and he just graduated high school. Like he's like 19. Like he would get booked for DPW shows, and he lived in it was either North or South Carolina, because I forget where they run pretty consistently. But he would like be like, hey guys, I might be late to the show because I have my high school track meet I have to go do, and I'll be right there. So he would go run track and then show up for a DPW show at night. Like absolutely insane. So yeah, I mean, like they see the raw talent. He's in wrestling school essentially with NXT. They're going to develop him. He's going to go far. He just needs the time.
That's fair.
I'm just worried that they're both not.
When you're 19.
I know. Well, again, like him being
again,
potential, and same with Trick. I just feel like there needs to be like a triple threat. I feel like.
Oh no, it definitely that's 100% where they're going. That top down shot that they had, where like everybody's knocked out and they're all crawling towards the belt. Yeah, they're 100%. Like I wouldn't be surprised if I was going to say William Regal. But he's not a GM anymore. So yeah, they're going to have Ava Raine show up, and she's going to be like, it's a 4-way now.
It's 100%.
It's 100% what they're doing. But never mind all that, right? None of that matters. Who cares about Dynamite's rating? And, you know, they didn't have their draw this week because the Big Bang Theory was preempted. None of that matters. The last 5.5 minutes of Raw was some of the coolest fucking shit I've ever seen. I apologize for cursing, but holy crap, man.
Whole show. Ed, tell it to me.
Ed, I am shocked. See, I was really surprised with all the talk that you had prior to it. I'm really surprised you said that.
Really? You thought I was gonna like crap all over it?
I thought you'd be a little disappointed because the way you
Hell
talked about so the new people are checking in right now, but just letting everyone know, Ed calls in almost every week.
Try to.
And he's talking about how he wanted this to be like an NWO type.
It needs to be a big deal. Is the way I was trying to frame this. These guys need to look like world beaters, right? That your regular stories of like good guy, bad guy that they normally had been running for the past, X amount of time, or from the beginning of time in wrestling, that doesn't matter. Shatter that for me. Like, no pun intended with the theme music they got. Nikki, you said it before, and I think you're echoing what I was saying. They need to feel like a big deal. These guys need to be the final boss. They need to be Darkseid. They need to be Thanos. They are above everything. Are they a heel? Are they a face? No, who cares? Doesn't matter. These guys are going to do what they want, and like they need to feel like a threat to the company when they show up. Like, people need to be afraid, and them showing up and just destroying the backstage like they did is exactly how you do that. Like, I know there had been discourse online of, who else did they attack? Did this person get away? Did that? It doesn't matter. I mean, listen, would it have been awesome? I can speak, I promise. Would it have been good if they hadn't like taken out anybody besides Gable? Had they like zoomed in and you saw them take out Strowman and Gunther and, throw in a bunch of other mid-card guys? Sure, it would have been great. You don't need it.
Agreed.
See, like that's, I don't know.
No, again, I think it's the story. What I said before, it's like he had this family, he shit on his family, and that's Howdy Bo Dallas's thing. He's like, he collected everyone from shitty, broken families. I'm going to make you a new family.
Exactly.
I think this, for me, holds a little more story than maybe actual. Because that was a thing. It was like, who is it going to attack? And they attacked Chad Gable. And I was like, oh, I get it. He hurt his family. Bo Dallas isn't like that. And he's building a family off people that were hurt by other families.
Now, my only concern is that do they get stuck with like, the Wyatt Sicks versus Chad Gable? And then he recruits a new family. So we get the Creed brothers and Ivy. Like, we all, I wouldn't be interested in that.
Yeah, that's what worries me.
Big, keep it feeling unpredictable. And I feel like they will keep this big. But Nick,
that's what worries me about them attacking Gable, right? Like, it's just like this whole, like, we all thought the storyline was the hashtag Chad Gable stable is like they're bringing Alpha Academy 2.0 with the Creeds back together. Now he just got like shot in the head by something, or I don't know. Maybe like Uncle Howdy can cause seizures in your brain, and I don't know. There has to be some sort of explanation as to how Chad Gable is literally. Listen. I'm doing.
Oh my God! They killed.
They literally killed Chad Gable. You can't
now.
tell me. It's just like AJ Styles. I'm having really like repressed memories from AJ Styles getting buried alive from The Undertaker at WrestleMania over many years ago.
I thought you were going to say you're having repressed memories from AJ Styles running around with a chainsaw calling Disco Inferno some really bad words back in TNA.
Oh boy.
Listen, I'm going back to like 2003 pay-per-view era TNA. Like I'm giving you a deep cut here. It's like, listen, it's like me and like 5 other people watch that show. It's fine.
Ed, see, that's the problem. See, I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to sit and play video games and buy this thing.
You didn't miss anything. It wasn't good.
Ed's like, you remember if you watch the Netflix documentary of what was OVW, and they're like,
I haven't seen that yet, but go for it.
There's the one scene where the guy's like, we needed to have like 500 buys, and how many did you get? It's like 50. It's like Ed and his friends are like 8 of the 50.
Listen, I 100% paid for every, or I 100% paid for weekly TNA pay-per-views.
Ed, when you said, never mind, I'm not gonna.
No, go for it.
There was a good
that
raunchy joke.
Documentary is such a nod and a wink and so kayfabe that they're trying so hard to be a documentary that you know it's kayfabe. Like,
Oh, is it like that?
Someone has a heart attack
Yeah.
in it and survives.
No. He had a seizure. Not a heart
Yeah,
attack.
it was a thing.
It was a seizure.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Nikki basically said the guy's dead.
no, it was like the cliffhanger from like the third or fourth episode,
Yeah.
and the next week he's like fine.
More or less dead than Gable.
Less.
No, it meant
It was less,
definitely less dead than Gable.
less than Gable.
He was talking.
Yeah.
He was talking during the seizure. Sort of.
He was like, "Oh no, guys, help! I'm having a seizure."
Like, I'm so down. Like, I know we love our car crash TV. Like, you would like it.
Yeah, it's been on the list. I definitely need to give it a go.
I don't know. This whole conversation has confused me.
But I know you guys were saying before too that do they wrestle in masks? Are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? I don't know, and I don't know if I care. I mean, there's part of me that's like, no, let them be who they are. Have them show up, have them take the mask off, and it's like, okay, that's Eric Rowan, that's whoever. Keep it a little more grounded in reality. I mean, there's part of me that's like, no, make it ridiculous, make them possessed by the puppets, but I'm the idiot that like loved Undertaker shooting lightning and like Kane lighting people on fire, and like I love Demon Finn Balor because it's so stupid. Like make them possessed by evil puppets like that come from Bray Wyatt's mind, please. Like,
Yeah.
it's so dumb to me. I love it.
No, like that whole element of it, like, and actually, it's kind of to your point from earlier. It's like if they're there's no governing body, right? They don't go by Raw or SmackDown or NXT. They could go to anything. Because actually, and I meant to make this point earlier, but like the NXT Battle Royal, Tony D'Angelo gets saved by one of his cronies. I don't know who they're calling him. Stacks or whatever. Stacks is gone, right? They killed him off. But whatever the other.
Oh yeah, Stax is dead, and he was wrestling in AEW for a little bit, and then
He broke his jaw, and they kind of released him. But Tony said he wants to sign him back when his jaw's not fucked up.
gotcha.
Yeah, so he can not talk on TV and just wrestle and get 0 ratings. Anyway.
500K, baby. That's new 1 million. Let's go.
There we go. But oh my gosh.
That's what happens when you book for the sickos,
Yeah, like I don't know, like
That's the thing. They come out with the Wyatt Sick, and it's still like SICK.
Yeah.
I mean, this for the sick up. I don't know. It all feels weird.
Someone should take away Tony Khan's Twitter account or X, whatever we're calling it.
And his Amex.
Take away his Amex. Stop signing people and doing nothing with them.
Listen, his father needs to come in. Whatever his name is, Raj or whatever. He needs to come in and do, listen, I'm only letting you spend $1 million a year on signings. You can't spend $4 million a year on one guy like Okada who's going to sit here
and do nothing.
Each.
I don't know. He did do a good cry.
He did a great cry.
Did he? I'm going to be.
Which is also
to cry and then said bitch.
Yeah, which is also what I do every time I've been watching AEW the last few weeks. So.
Oh no!
It's not a good show, guys. It's been really bad for a little bit.
I know.
So I don't know, but Ed, before we let you go, last shot.
Ooh, last shot. All right, guys, listen. I know that they.
Oh, no. Well, if you have 2 more, I'll let you get 2 more in.
Oh no! I was going to say that, like, we've been. Well, one, I did want to talk about Billy Ostrich and his meaningless title, but that was really it, honestly.
Listen, Ed, in the next few weeks, I will be crafting your very own via Canva Continental Crunchwrap title that will precede all of your calls as the Continental Crunchwrap champion.
I love it. Not for nothing.
Yeah, the first title holder on the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour, and you will have to defend it somehow. We will find a way for you to
fight people via my mic. Let's go.
Well, we'll have like some sort of ridiculous debate about insane topics. It might have to be between you and Steve with like AEW ratings or something along those lines.
I'm here for it, honestly. No. For my my last shot here, right? Listen, I get that the Wyatt Sicks is new. I get that they're a force to be reckoned with, but there's only one group I feel like could stop these guys. We need Necromancer Chris Jericho. We need Undead Toby Keith, Amish Shanky, and Big Bill, the new Schism. Like, let's go.
Oh God. I didn't even know.
How dare you?
I don't even know how. Of course, he was going to get it in. He had to get in his spot, just like everyone else. Ed.
Hey, wait, hold on. Wait, the actual spot I'm getting in, Darby Allin sucks.
Oh, here he goes again.
Well,
Ladies and gentlemen,
But
Ed,
then,
you, sir, are cut off with his liquid death. We're cutting him off from his liquid death.
boy. I think
Last comments to get through.
I think we're caught, baby.
Yeah, I think
This has been a long one.
It's been a fun one. Long one and a fun one. But we appreciate you all. Let me get through the last comment. Is it Ed?
Stephen being Stephen.
Only regular with a catchphrase. Well, Steve, you got to think of your own catchphrase.
I know.
Now we got to.
Well, that's the thing. I guess Ed has a catchphrase, and then Stephen comes with his fun screen names. Because again, the talent name is what happened when Cody Rhodes. Again, the announcement's like, "You're champion, Cody Rhodes," and it's like nameplate has the women's tag team belts on it, and it says talent name. It's your flipping champion.
Great, it's phenomenal.
So good. My hair is crazy right now.
You're just so worked up from all
I'm
that.
so worked up. We have 20 minutes for SmackDown. Get your snacks. Take your children outside.
Yeah. Well, before you do all that, hit the old like and subscribe as we get a bunch of new people in here. We're here every Friday. We'll be back here next Friday, June 28th, for the new episode. So mark your calendars, subscribe, turn on notifications. If me saying it doesn't do it for you, let's give you a video. So make sure you do all that fun stuff. It helps us. It goes a long way to us seeing you again down the road, hopefully next Friday at 6 Eastern. But that being said, get ready for SmackDown. Maybe Drew McIntyre shows up tonight. It's in CM Punk's hometown. He's supposed to be there. That'll be a pretty fun experience. So it's always something fun when CM Punk's around. So we'll see. But that being said, until next time, you don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here. Bye.